Hi guys, thank you guys so much for clicking on today's video. My name is Millie. If this is your first time here, hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you stumbled upon this video because if you have been trying to lose weight for the longest time and if you have struggled with eating, counting calories, portion restriction, and things like that, then this video might be for you. Let me give you a brief overview of my story. So just for your reference, I am about to turn 26 years old and my story begins when I was in, I would say, college. When I started college, I was pretty slim. So the way that our college was set up was that if you lived on campus, you kind of had to eat the food that they have there, and it was more of like a buffet style kind of thing that they had going on. And so of course, you have pizza, you have all the food that they're serving that of course is not health food. So I loaded up on that. Fast forward after college, 4 years later, after I graduated, I was at around 130 pounds. I ended up meeting my husband there. We got married, but then upon getting married, we were just not eating the healthiest. I didn't know how to cook. He didn't know how to cook. So we would just make do with what we had and eat out a lot. And so throughout our marriage, I actually ended up gaining another around 10 pounds. So throughout those 4 years of college, plus the maybe 2 years after graduating and then being married, I had an excess of over 40 pounds on me. And throughout that, of course, like upon graduating college, I started to focus on like restricting portions or calorie counting or going keto for a little bit, and quite honestly, it was so restrictive. Low carb, trying not to eat carbs because they're bad for you, because they're gonna make you fat, which is a lie, by the way. But so basically for a very long time, I was just just gaining weight. And finally, it was around a year and a half after my husband and I got married that I actually began to get even more self-conscious because nothing was working, none of the diets, none of the restriction was working. And so I was just tired of it. I began to notice that I hated looking at pictures of me, and for the average person, maybe you look at these pictures and you do not think that I was overweight by any means, but come to later find out after plugging in my numbers on the BMI calculator that I was actually considered overweight for my height because I am 4'11", and I couldn't believe it, afterwards, that I was actually overweight and pretty unhealthy for the way that I knew I was eating. To make the long story short, if you guys want to hear more about that, then go ahead, please let me know. I'm more than willing to share my personal story and share with you guys how I handled all that struggle with food, and maybe that will bring you guys some help and some comfort in finding finally for the first time like freedom from food. Jumping back into the story and moving on. So in the beginning of the year 2020, I met a sweet girl who introduced me to a vegan lifestyle, or more so a vegan diet. And so I just saw her relationship with food, how it didn't seem like she struggled with it, which for the most part a lot of women in my life did. It was pretty encouraging to see that, and to see that I could possibly maybe find the same joy that she has. In June of 2020, I decided to give this lifestyle a try. I went plant-based, still ate tons of processed foods and all that stuff, but for the most part, I was plant-based. And so kind of jumped in one day and was like, I'm gonna start tomorrow. I did do some research beforehand, but it didn't take long for me to just say, okay, tomorrow's the day. I told my husband and I was like, I'm gonna go plant-based, just eat vegan food basically for the unforeseeable future. I was like, I'm gonna try for a week, see if it's doable. And to my surprise, it wasn't as hard as I thought. It was actually pretty simple. Of course, again, processed food. But after 1 week of trying it, I honestly felt a lot better. So I had struggled a while from a car crash, pain in my back, and just inflammation. And I was just always tired and sluggish. And quickly, from week 1 to week 2, I felt just so much better. I had so much more energy. I was not tired anymore. My back didn't ache as it usually did every single day. Because of how good I felt, I decided to keep on going, and then I loved it so much that I stuck with eating plant-based. And it wasn't until a couple months later, as I just began to do my research and find motivation on why this lifestyle is working, and I just found it unbelievable how good I felt. So there must be like research on this, right? So I came across Dr. Michael Greger, Clapper, PCRM, Healthy Emmy, Chelsea May Colon. I found just so many people and podcasts and got so informed with the science behind why this lifestyle is just so great and beneficial for health and wellness, and how it could cure just so many diseases because of all the information that I now knew, and how good it was for the planet, for animals, and of course my first primary focus was my health. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this, and I'm not gonna give myself a limit, but I'm just gonna keep on doing it. And then as I did my research, I found out about a whole foods plant-based diet that is completely oil-free. I started that in around November of 2020. From then on to like January, February, I ended up losing a total of 35 pounds. After that, I lost the other 5 pounds. I lost that weight, I would say, pretty quickly, and I honestly didn't think that that would happen necessarily. So I ended up losing the weight kind of as a side effect. I didn't really expect it to happen. I mean, I knew it could because of all the research that I had done with people saying that it helped their health, but it also just, you know, gave them an extra benefit of weight loss. So that's kind of what happened with me. I mean, it was just so awesome that throughout this whole just transition into a whole foods plant-based diet, I ended up finding freedom from food, finally left satisfied, finally finished all of that struggle that I had with food for so many years. I no longer have to obsess over calorie counting, restricting portions, staying away from the carbs, and believing all these myths. And no, I now like appreciate food, and I appreciate my body, not just because it lost the weight, but I learned to just love my body because it fuels me for the things that I love, just like the food does. So now with that out of the way, my story, a little bit of background, I want to share with you guys what I did to actually lose the weight. Of course, the first thing I did, I went whole foods plant-based. And I know this might seem a little crazy for some of you guys, that you guys, you know, are trying to, you know, figure out just what diet to do next, maybe if that's why you clicked on today's video. And I just want to tell you that if that is the case, even, what's so wrong with giving this lifestyle a try? You've all probably already tried all the other diets and you lose a couple of pounds and then you gain them all back. I haven't gained the weight back. I am, you know, still maintaining. This lifestyle is just awesome. It's sustainable once you get the hang of it, and it is, honestly, it's amazing because you have so much freedom to just enjoy food and not have it be the center of your life, but it is a blessing and just an enjoyment. And I really do think that you have nothing to lose if you adopt this lifestyle. It is awesome for your health, which is I think the biggest benefit is that your health, you will evidently feel just so much better. And of course, like I said, weight loss, huge side effect, and it just comes up on its own without you having to obsess and count and restrict. If you think that this is a crazy extreme diet, it might seem like it in the beginning because you're used to the standard American diet, but trust me, it is so wonderful and it is so freeing. Second thing I did to lose weight, which of course these tips are all going to be along with the plant-based diet. The second thing that I did was eat a lot more veggies. Because veggies are lower in calorie density, you aren't able to eat a larger volume of food. You could eat a lot more for less calories, but that also means that you don't even have to worry about calorie counting because they're so low in calorie density. There are a couple of videos that I love on just explaining calorie density, and I will go ahead and link them down below because I think they do a way better job than I could. Basically, you could eat just a whole ton of more vegetables and be more satisfied with those than you would if you eat a steak or something. And by eating a lot more vegetables, that fills your stomach, and so therefore you're able to just eat a lot more, feel fuller because all plant foods have fiber, and yeah, you're able to just be satisfied. I shared this tip in another video, but try to sneak in as many vegetables as you can in all of your meals because, again, same thing, it bulks up your meal and it's lowering calories so that you don't have to worry about counting or portion control or any of that. Because one of the things with weight loss is that technically, even with this way of eating, yes, the amount of calories do matter in a day. The thing is that because these foods are lower on the calorie density scale, and if I find like a calorie density chart or list, I will go ahead and put it right here. That way you guys can go ahead and just kind of see what I'm talking about, because veggies have way less calories than dairy products and meat products. So that's why you're able to just eat a lot more until you're satisfied and not have to worry about counting. So third thing I did to lose the weight was eat carbs, which sounds counterintuitive in comparison to all the other way of eating methods, diets, styles, whatever that are out there. They will usually always tell you that you cannot eat the carbs because they will make you fat, that you cannot eat potatoes, that you cannot eat rice and beans, that you can't eat corn, that those things are bad for you, that you can't have the pasta because you'll gain weight. But I'm here to tell you that those things are okay. Believe it or not, you can eat carbs and still lose weight. As a matter of fact, that's what I ate to lose 40 pounds and to still keep it off and still keep losing. Carbs are not bad. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are good for you. They are so full of fiber, which keeps you full, which satisfies you, which is just so enjoyable. You could eat a piece of toast that and you don't have to feel guilty afterwards. You can eat a sweet potato and not feel like guilty for eating a whole plant food. These foods are so good for you and they will leave you satisfied. You will not go hungry on this way of eating. No more portion control. Trust me, just eat the carbs. They are good for you. Eat them with your veggies, of course, but eat them. They are so good for you. It is nearly impossible to gain weight eating natural whole plant foods, unless you're overstuffing yourself. But of course, in this lifestyle, we are kind of also learning to eat when we're hungry and stop when we're full. So another thing that I did that I've been mentioning throughout this is that you do not have to count calories. That helped me to lose weight, which is crazy, right? Because you're not overthinking it, you're just eating, you're just enjoying life, you're just seeing these foods, these whole plant foods as energy. You're seeing these plant foods as a blessing. You're seeing these plant foods as good for you and nourishing and how they're fueling your body. You're not seeing them anymore as, okay, I have to keep my portions very tiny because then I'm gonna gain weight and I can't gain weight. And you know, like, you don't have to spend mental space on those things. And so that's why I'm saying, like, it is so freeing, because if you're hyper focused on just weight loss, counting calories and all that stuff, then it's just going to make it so much more complicated because all your thoughts are focused on that. So I don't know, I feel like, at least personally for me, if weight loss became my focus, I feel like that would derail me so much. And maybe that's just me, but I think that there are probably others of you that if you guys focus on just weight loss and calorie counting, then that could just become obsessive. And we want to restore that relationship with food, where food is just something to be enjoyed, fueling our bodies to go on to do the things that you love. That is the goal. That is what we aim to get to. The very, very basic things of being on a plant-based diet that will help you lose weight. And this one's very important because this one is more, I think it's one of the easiest things to do, but it was one of the hardest things to do. And that, I would say, is cutting out the oil completely. Now, if you keep the oil in, I would say it's just unnecessary. Honestly, like, once you start learning that you could cook every single thing without oil and just saute it in water or air saute, you will learn that it's just unnecessary, that you don't really need it. It has no health benefits for you, quite the contrary actually. It's not a health food. And it's not even food at all. It's just empty calories that you don't need, that your body doesn't need. I would say that if it's in the beginning a struggle, just go ahead, start with just dabbing a tiny little bit and just gradually reduce the amount of oil that you're using, because a tablespoon of oil is really high in calories. And if we're just throwing one spoon here, one spoon here, one spoon here with all the meals that we're making, for the amount of a tablespoon of oil, you could eat just a ton more veggies. And so of course, in this lifestyle, we want to make sure that we are left satisfied, we're not hungry. So obviously we're going to probably opt for the vegetables rather than the oil. And even if you don't want to go 100% whole foods plant-based, at least try to moderate the oil or like completely eliminate it from your diet. No matter what diet you're doing, it'll be greatly beneficial for you. So that kind of covers basically what I did to lose the weight. The most important thing obviously is I went whole food plant-based, oil-free. I would say the other ones kind of fall in between there. But honestly, this is an amazing way of eating. And I really hope that you give this lifestyle a try for your health, for weight loss, for overall happiness, for overall enjoyment. It is super amazing. It is satisfying. It is delicious. And I have made just a lot of videos already on like just different plant-based recipes for you guys to try. So just go ahead, go to my channel, find a couple of recipes that you could try. I really hope that this video helped you. If it did, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you're gonna go ahead and try this lifestyle out, I would really love to hear if you guys have already given this lifestyle a try, and if you too have had great success, please comment down below. That way other people who are wanting to try it can be encouraged to go through with it and just try this, even if it's just for a month, to see how you feel. Trust me, it is awesome. Again, no restrictions, eating until you're comfortably full, no calorie counting, and you will find freedom and you will find joy with plants. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.